Hi everyone, we're continuing our learning of the Mishnah on Shabbat, starting with Gimel, with number 3 of chapter 10. Okay, and here we're dealing with the idea of, when or when not someone is liable for carrying between domains or within the public domain. And here we're talking about when the manner in which someone is carrying something. So if it's in a normal manner, then one is liable biblically. But if it's in an unusual manner, then that would exempt one from the biblical liability. Okay, so Gimel. Hamotzi bein bimino, bein bismalo, betoch cheko, o al kitafo, chayav, sheken masav kehat. One who takes something out, either with his right hand or his left hand, or in his in his chest, like keeping it in your shirt here, tucked in somewhere, or on his shoulder, is liable. For such was the method of carrying used by the sons of Kehat. So the first three are manners of carrying that we're familiar with. So those are regular manners of carrying. You tuck something in, or you have it in one of your hands. The fourth one, carrying on the shoulder, doesn't sound like a regular one, but we derive that as one of the ones that counts as a regular one because it comes from the biblical text when we were in the wilderness and the carrying of the Mishkan, that it was traveling, and the Bnei Kehat were responsible for carrying the important parts of it, and they would carry on their shoulders, and it says so explicitly in the Torah, and therefore that's one of the manners that counts as a regular manner of carrying. Kil achar yado, but in a backhandedly, so the ways that are unusual ways of transporting, carrying something. Biraglo, befiv, uv marpeko, beozno, uv saro, ufundato, ufi halamata, bein pundato lachaluko, uvisvat chaluko, bimin alo, bisandalo, pator, shalo hotzi, chederek hamotziin. If he carried backhandedly with his foot, in his mouth, with his elbow, tucking it here, or in his ear, in his hair, in his money belt with the opening hanging downward, or between his money belt and his shirt, in the hem of his shirt, in his shoe, in his sandal. So these are all unusual ways of carrying that people don't normally do. Then he is exempt, because he did not carry out in a manner of those who carry things out. So because it's not one of the usual ways, like we said, only the usual ways makes one biblically liable. If it's kil achar yad in this unusual way, which is listed here, some of the different ways, then it would not be biblically liable. He'd be exempt. Okay, 4. Now we're dealing with something slightly different. So this relates to the idea that we have of Melechet Machshevet Asra Torah, that things have to have they have to be a purposeful labor. So there's some kind of intentionality or thinking that you want it done a certain way. That's one of the principles that we deal with the Hilchot Shabbat, that there has to be some kind of consciousness, intentionality, awareness. Hamitkaven lehotzi lefanav uvalo la'acharav patur, la'acharav uvalo lefanav chayav. One who intended to take out an object in front of him and it slipped behind him is exempt. Behind him and it shifted to the front of him is liable. So what's this about? This is about when someone is intending to do something, is intentionally doing something prohibited, whether the outcome is better or worse will affect one's liability. So if it's an outcome that is an improvement, one is liable, but if it's an outcome that's worse because of this idea of there has to be the intentionality of getting the result that you want, if it's something worse, then one is exempt. So here, if you have an object in front of you, you're able to be more vigilant in guarding it. You could check if it's there all the time and you can see it in front of you. If it's behind you, that's worse. So if it starts in the front and it goes behind the person, then therefore they would be exempt. But if it goes the other way around, it goes to the front where it's a better thing, it's a better way of carrying something that they would want more, then it would be liable. Be'emet amru, indeed they said, Haisha hachogeret b'sinar, ben milfaneha uvein milachareha chayevet, sheken raui lihiyot chozer. Indeed they said a woman girded with an apron, some kind of article of clothing, some kind of cover, whether in front of her or behind her, is liable, for it is common for it to shift around. So this is a thing that moves around. So you had the intention, when you went out with it, your intention was that it could be in front of me or behind me. It's not that you had it intentional to be in one place and then it shifted and then there's a qualitative difference. Right now, it's a thing that always moves around, and therefore still liable. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, af mikablei pitkin. Rabbi Yehuda says also letter carriers, so people that are carrying the male and have some kind of belt with some kind of pouch of some sort, something to carry, they also know that shifts around. And therefore, the same kind of ruling, at least according to Rabbi Yehuda. For the previous one about the woman's apron, it seemed like it was just the opinion of the Mishnah, and this one it sounds like maybe Rabbi Yehuda is disagreeing with the other rabbis because it's not written as a general voice, it's written as specifically Rabbi Yehuda, and it's in contrast to something, so maybe people disagree about that one. Okay, good, we'll stop there. Thanks so much, and see you next week. Bye.